What is a utopia? Welcome to Philosopher's Corner. I'm John. What is a utopia? Well, the standard definition says it's a place in the imagination of a really good world, essentially a perfect world, a great place to live. And in that way, it's the opposite of a dystopia. Many, many films and books and theories, political philosophies, even theologies, cosmologies have pondered what is a utopia. Like what's like an ideal society, right? It's a common topic. It's a target for many visionaries. As well it should be. The idea of what constitutes perfect society or what constitutes a great world to live in is an idea that we would hope great thinkers and visionaries make important in their thought exercises. So, what is it? I'll say up front, the common factor of utopias is the valuing of the quality of life of the individual. And any sort of idea of a utopia necessarily needs to be based around that concept. The whole point of a perfect society is to provide a high quality experience for the individual in the society. And that's where it gets philosophical to go, okay, what is it that provides a high quality experience for an individual in a society? So since this is philosophy, we start with the inner, deeper meaning of that, which is we need fulfillment, we need spiritual growth to be accessible, we need the reality itself to be accessible, we need life experiences to be in a consistent flow, we need relationships to be open, we need things to be ecumenical and positive, and a free flow of information, ideas, emotions, thoughts, and generally free flow of the culture within the society. The individual needs to have access to the basics in life. They need food, shelter, medicine, social relationships, activities. And they need to be facilitated in a way that does not bar access to individuals who need those for their life progression. Now, when it comes to utopias, people, they always want to run to the logistics of it, the economy, the politics, the this, the that, the this, the that. It's honestly, it's really irrelevant. When it comes to utopic thinking, we focus on the quality of life of the individual, and we have faith in the power of a whole, healthy human being who's in a good environment to propagate good, to propagate life. Citizens in a utopia, individuals in a utopia, are being positive. They don't feel that they have predators on them. They don't feel they have to put up defense mechanisms. They feel like the institutions, the powerful institutions, are there to help serve them in honesty and in truth and in faith to the goodness of them as an individual, regardless of what is characteristic of the individual. like race, creed, color, economic status, education status. None of that matters in a utopia. The individual needs to be engaged with or have articulated opportunities of engagement for all these different aspects of their life. Now, individuals, they vary, widely vary. The human spectrum is massive. You know, like some people, yeah, people, you know, you have various levels of intelligence, various levels of inquiry, various levels of the ability to receive fulfillment, various levels of everything, taste palettes, coordination, body sizes, abilities, all these things. So it's not that a utopia has to be created to figure out like every single thing and be molded around like just a certain set of people. In a utopia, there's a cornucopia of opportunities and flows that are facilitated so that the individuals can go out and learn to know themselves. And then when they do, and they mature and they evolve into full spectrum human beings where they know they're in the universe and they know that they're in a world and they're having a life experience, then they can matriculate into responsible portions of that utopia that fit their skill sets. And in a utopia, there's no ratios of like trying to like make sure everybody's equal. That's not a utopic idea. The utopic idea is that the individual has a high quality of life and they're meeting fulfilling needs. Because for one person, it might be really fulfilling to go live their life in the woods in a treehouse, and for another person, they need to go live in a penthouse and like do some stuff. And it's not the job of the utopia to resource those people to necessarily do those things. It's the job of the utopia to allow for those things to occur with a minimum of impedance. Now, there's literally infinite ways to set these things up, and they're completely possible to do it. And some places get really close. But in the imaginary world of utopia, there's no civil unrest, there's no war, there's no corruption, there's no inefficiency, there are no hidden agendas. In a utopia, everybody's on the same page, and the same page is the quality of life for the individual in the deepest way that you can imagine. It starts with the basics. A lot of people get tripped up on the basics. Oh, it's the money, it's the food, it's this, it's that, it's this. No. When you start playing that game, it only leads to material concerns. The basic material concerns in a utopia get worked out, and you can figure out a million billion different ways to work out the material stuff. And that's basically what culture is. But once you have those figured out in a utopia, it's the sense that everybody is in the world together and they're enjoying their lives and they're all sort of teammates. You feel connected to everybody because you know everybody's in there, and you know you're in a good world, and you know you're living good lives, and there's appreciation that builds for that. And that appreciation is contagious. And the appreciation is it's gratitude, it's joy, it's love, it's humility, it's being real. It really creates the environment for an emotional experience to flourish that is only capable when the utopia sets in. And the emotional environment for the utopia setting in is it's immaterial. You need the material foundation to get straight. So you need to make sure that the base emotions and thoughts and all the lower things like greed and power and jealousy, all those, they're not present in the utopia, so that the material stuff can get taken care of, so that people can engage in life. They can engage in the emotional enjoyment of life, the luxury of a secure life, the luxury of knowing that you have a future, and like more than that, the luxury of knowing that you're living in a society with other people who also have futures, whose futures you value just as much as your own, whose futures you appreciate just as much as your own, and they appreciate yours. And the interactions are fueled by this appreciation, joy, love, humility, skill, and you're thinking the whole time. In fact, your thoughts get better, your mental capacities get way better in a utopia. When the emotional body is taken care of and the soul is being fed and the soul needs are being taken care of, and we've done the responsible, mature human calculations, and we've moved the material reality around to service the soul needs of us, to service the heart needs of us, to service the overall emotional needs of us, to service the mental needs of us. And we start talking about the world as us, then the whole atmosphere changes and the utopic world can arise, it can flourish, it can spring forward in an instant. And in that world, the darkness is purged from the system. It's remembered scholastically, it's academically noted, it's there. But once we all live in the utopia and our soul feels good, our emotions feel good, our brains feel good, our mind is satisfied, we're in harmony with everyone, we're in harmony with nature, we're in harmony with the world, we're in harmony with the galaxy, we're in harmony with the universe, we're in harmony with the creator. That sets the conditions for levels of life that have not happened yet. And that's why we need the imagination as a tool, in a sense, to help bring this in. Because the imagination helps us get past our current circumstances to envision and have the notion of a world which is better than the one we live in, which is why we call it a utopia. In fact, if we were in a utopia, would we even call it a utopia? Probably not. Like the next step from utopia would be heaven. I guess if you got to a level of utopia where everything was great and everyone was taken care of and everybody was in on it and in joyously sharing it, then I guess the only things you'd have left to nitpick would be, aging and material concerns and, physical decay or whatever. And then so the only other place to go would be like, well, maybe there's heaven. Maybe like when we shed the bodies, it's like completely perfect. But in the meantime, to live in a utopia, we could perfect the material realm and do our best with what we have. And so that's sort of the idea. That's the idea of a utopia. So what is a utopia? Utopia is a world in which the quality of life of the individual is the primary design factor for all strategies and all constructions of the world, resulting in what we would consider to be a perfect world to live in. And maybe that's the goal of philosophy. Maybe that's the greatest utility of philosophy to the world, is to start a conversation to try to get us to figure out what a utopia is and then maybe how to construct one. Well, I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for spending some time down here at Philosopher's Corner. Have fun.